So today I want to talk to you about a tactic that has been proving very successful for me during the World Cup, and it's one of my favourite tactics or favourite strategies over the years anyway, and that's in-play corner betting. Now, it can be hard to sort of explain in-play corner betting precisely because it is very instinctual and there are certain triggers that you need to look out for, and you can't be told beforehand this game will definitely have those triggers. But in this video, I'm going to tell you what to look out for. I'm going to tell you what sort of statistics you should be monitoring during the game, where your entry points are, where your potential exit points are, and why during this World Cup the in-play corner market is an amazing one to get involved in, and it's somewhere where you can really cash in. The win-draw-win market can be up and down because it's hard to predict with the lack of comparative data. Overs and unders, you can start to get a grasp on that as you get through the tournament, but the in-play corner market is somewhere where you can really steal a march on the bookies for very good reason to do with injury time, and I think it's something that we can really exploit. So take a look at the video, let me know what you think, and hopefully you'll find it useful.
So the best way to explain how to use this strategy is to take a deeper look into some in-play examples. So firstly, I want to look at the in-play triggers, the things that you should be looking for when betting on in-play corners, whether it be in the World Cup, whether it be in the Premier League. It doesn't matter what league it's in, but these are the sort of things that you should be aware of and looking for. So we want at least one of the teams to be motivated to attack. Now, I know that sounds kind of simple, but what that means is when we get to the point of entry, so maybe the 65th or 70th minute, whatever it might be, we want one team to be particularly motivated to attack. So if it's a dull 0-0 against two teams that probably sort of mid-table and aren't too fussed about the result, in all honesty, then that's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for a team to be motivated to attack. So ideally, I like to bet on it when the home team is behind by a goal, for example. So your home team is very motivated to attack. They're going to want to play well in front of their fans. They're going to have the fans on their back. They're going to be looking to get forward to get that equaliser. So that's an example. You could also have when the away team is behind, if they're the stronger team. You know, there's many scenarios where one of the teams is going to be really motivated to attack. So you need at least one of those teams. With that attacking team, you want to bear in mind how many corners they've already had in the match. So you want them to have already had corners if you're entering in the 60th minute onwards. So just because they're behind by a goal and they're trying to get forward, if they haven't had a single corner up until the 60th minute, there's a slim chance of them getting too many more before the end of the game. So if the corner count is heavily in favour of the team that's defending and the attacking team haven't really got many corners, then that's not something that's really something we're looking for. So bear that in mind too. You do want to consider how a goal would change the game. So this is a little bit more forward thinking. So if you've got a game that's 0-1, for example, if the home team score as soon as you enter, are they then going to be happy to stick with a draw rather than going for the win? In which case, your situation is a lot different to what it was when you entered. So you enter in hoping there's going to be some attacking play so they can get that equaliser. If they get that equaliser straight away, is the attacking play going to cease? So that's something you need to think about as well. Ideally, yeah, similar to the first situation, ideally we'd want both teams looking for the win. So if it is at 0-0 or 1-1 or 2-2, whatever it might be, the higher scoring games the better, obviously, because it suggests attacking intent. But ideally we'd want both teams to win. So if it's 0-0, then you want both teams to be attacking and trying to get that first goal. Even if it's sort of 0-1, then if you think the home team particularly needs to win, then that sort of negates the problem in the bullet point before. So even if they get the equaliser, they're then going to try and win the game. So that's something else that you'll be looking for. But again, linked to the point before, if you do get an early goal and it's against the sort of strategy that you were working towards, like a home team pushing for an equaliser, then you can consider exiting straight away. This is very much down to your risk tolerance. But if your position changes dramatically only a minute or two after you enter, and you think to yourself, I wouldn't have entered if this was the scoreline when I put the bet on, then consider exiting, take a small loss and move on to the next. So let's have a look at some examples of games that I bet on. I think they were all on Sunday, actually. The Sunday just gone, you'll be able to see. So this first game was in the Eerste Division, so the second tier in the Netherlands. And you can see that the bet that I placed was over 6 second half corners. and there'd already been, let's have a look, there'd been 4 so far, you can see. 4 second half corners, and we were in about the sort of 78th minute, I think it is. So there'd been 4, so we need 3 more corners in the game in 13 minutes. So that's the position that we're in. So what happened next? Well, after just 1 minute of being in the market, you can see that there was actually another corner. So we were up to 5 already, and we need 7. Only 2 more needed, and already I just wanted to show this to show you how quickly the markets move in this situation. After only a minute, we could already cash out for a profit. So don't worry about the actual figures. My stakes are all over the place in this because it was just an example video, so I haven't used level stakes. I was just using what was left in my account. So don't worry about the actual amount, but you can see that it's gone from £10 to £12.37 in the space of a minute, which is obviously a great return. And what happened next? Well, as we mentioned at the start of the video, this is something that you might have been slightly worried about in some circumstances, but there was an equaliser immediately. So I was putting the bet on thinking that the away team would be looking for an equaliser, and they did indeed get that equaliser just after that corner went in. Actually, the times are conflicting a little bit there, just because I took the screenshots at different times, but it may even have been that corner that led to the goal. Anyway, you can see that the goal went in. Now you have a decision to make. Then, are you gonna exit the position, as I mentioned, or stay in? Now I decided to stay in because it was the away team that got the equaliser. So the home team is still likely to want to win the game, so they're likely to still attack. The away team have already shown that they can attack by having 2 goals for and having a number of corners. So it's not easy to just suddenly turn off that attacking intent. They might have already made attacking substitutions. So I decided that I was going to carry on with the bet. So next up, we've already seen that. So this is just to confirm. We were looking for 3 corners in the last 15 minutes when we entered. The away team was chasing and had already had 4 corners. The equaliser meant that both teams are likely to attack, so that was more chance of corners, so we're happy to stay in. If one team is chasing, 3 corners is reasonable estimate for the last 10 minutes plus injury time. And this is where the World Cup comes into play, as I mentioned in the intro. The amount of injury time in the World Cup, it means that you're getting so much more time for these corners to go in. So when you're putting a bet on at 80 minutes, for example, you're still getting the same odds that you would in a normal 90-minute game. And it isn't factoring in the fact that we're actually playing 100 minutes in a lot of the games. So where I'm saying 3 corners is reasonable in the last 10 minutes, it's actually probably 4 or 5 could be reasonable when you're getting 10 minutes injury time. So that's something that we can really exploit in the World Cup and take advantage of the extra time that is being added on by the referees. The markets don't necessarily react in the same way as we will, as in they won't necessarily think of it as corners, an extra chance for corners. They won't sort of adapt as quickly, so we can get in and actually cash in, hopefully. So what's next? I've got some more examples of how things went. So this is how it ended up, 2-2. We had the 7 corners, it says there, over 6 we wanted. 7th corners in the 85th minute. So we were in the market for less than 10 minutes. And we made a level stakes profit of 1.37, which is amazing return on investment for such a short time. And as I said, the motivation of the teams are key when deciding on the fixtures that you get involved in. So let's quickly have another look at another one. This is I think this is the Portugal Segunda League, and I've gone for over 14 here. And you can see that there's already been 12 corners. I'll do my sums there after 68 minutes. So 12 corners after 68 minutes. We've got 25 minutes for 3 more corners. And as I said, I'd be happy with that in the last 10 minutes usually. Both teams are sharing the corners, 7 and 5, so that's a good sign. There's been a high number of shots on target and off target in the match, and they're both looking for the win, so definitely an ideal spot. So let's have a look. We've got, ignore those little pink bits, I'll show you in a minute what they are. Oh, that sounded terrible. Current corners, 13. You can see that we've gone up already, and it's still 1-1 in the 80th minute. And then the 81st minute, we've got 14 corners, and you can see that we've still got a long time in the game left, and over 14 isn't even appearing on the offerings in the second screenshot because the odds would be so short for it in the 81st minute. Now, if you look at the cash out then in the 84th minute or 81st minute, 1967 and the returns are £27 for the full bet. And we've still got 9 minutes plus injury time left, so over 10 minutes. Now, 14 corners after 81 minutes, 10 minutes for one corner with this being level and both teams attacking. This is an example of why you don't always want to cash out. That cash out does not represent good value. You're throwing away a lot of money if you cash out there. I know, I understand that people, especially when trading, coming from a trading background, I completely understand that you want to get in and out of the markets, but this isn't actually trading. And clearly, I'm William Hill here, and this isn't the same. You're not getting the same odds as you do on Betfair. You're not getting in and out. You're not really having the opportunity to sort of put that onto another bet quickly and trade in and out. If you're using the traditional bookmakers, be very careful of the cash outs, because although obviously you're making a profit, you're leaving a lot on the table. And the reason you got into the bet in the first place was due to sound reasoning and sound research, if you like. So that still holds true. Why are you exiting with 9 minutes left? You know, sometimes you've got to trust your position, basically. And as you can see, the 15th corner came in the 90th minute, so it kept us waiting, but we knew it was going to come, or we predicted it was going to come. So staying in the market here dramatically increased our ROI. And if you're only in the market for such a short time, you can't be scared of the clock. You haven't been, if you'd been in it since the first minute and you get into the 80th minute, then okay, you've been in the market for 80 minutes and the bet's not going your way, or it's not going as quickly as you'd like. I understand the cash out, but we'd only been in since the 68th minute. So we're looking at like 20 minutes in the market, and we already want to exit because we were a little bit scared of what's going on. I mean, again, it's down to preference, but I would advise staying in these positions, especially in the World Cup at the moment, or in any matches in the future if that sort of timekeeping catches on. Because, as I said, 80 minutes doesn't really mean 80 minutes at the moment, especially not in the World Cup. It means definitely at least 85 or 86, 95 or 96, sorry, if not 100 minutes. So there's so much scope. If all of the conditions are still going in your favour, then I'd strongly recommend staying in and not being scared of the clock.
So, key takeaways from the video: make sure you analyse the game closely, make sure one of the teams at least has got some real attacking intent, make sure that that team have also had a few corners in the game so far, so showing that they are actually having shots on target or at least getting crosses into the box. Make sure that if the goal goes in, you know what position you'll be taking. If it's going to ruin your bet completely, maybe avoid that one, because if you're entering because of the attacking intent of one team and one team alone, and that team scores straight away, it may really affect your position. So just bear that in mind. And all in all, I think it's a great strategy. I think you'll have great success with it. And please do let me know in the comments below how you got on and any examples. And please like and subscribe. I'll see you again soon.